Hello, I'm Annette Young and welcome to the 51%, a show about women reshaping our world. Coming up, how the social media platform TikTok is becoming a key tool for criminals wanting to recruit women and girls into prostitution networks. Also, Myanmar's military government expands its ban on menstrual products, claiming resistance groups use them as first aid for injured fighters. I'll be talking shortly to activist Henriette Seyrac as to why this is fast becoming a health issue. But first, TikTok is widely known as a platform for sharing memes, beauty trends, and increasingly a Gen Z perspective on the news. Yet it is also emerging as a disturbing tool used to recruit women and young girls into prostitution networks. This investigation by our colleagues at France 2.
Looking for a rose seller. These ads are popping up all over the internet. But it's not a romantic jest, but rather something much darker. They're meant to recruit young women, sometimes minors, into prostitution. We analyzed over 300 recruitment posts, all readily accessible on the social media platform TikTok. The ads all appear the same, set to a rap song, secretly filmed in an apartment where the women allegedly host their clients. And the posts are very overt. Explicit photos or images of condoms. They're designed to recruit prostitutes. We responded to one of the posts. We created a fake TikTok account using the name Lila. Our photo is created using artificial intelligence. Very soon, 8 recruiters private message us. One of them wanted to call.
Le client va te demander s'il a des envies ou des désirs, tu vois.
Toi, tu m'envoies les clients, mais je peux en faire combien par soir?
C'est toi, t'en fais autant que tu veux. Tu fais que ton rapport protégé, t'as fait la semaine protégée, et tu prends tes 100 €. Ils te payent en liquide.
Et après, on divise comment?
On fait 50-50. Si toi, t'as une copine avec toi, ramène-la si tu te sens plus en sécurité.
In the many published photos, the girls appear very young. The procurers recruit them via TikTok. Our profile says 16 years old. For 7 out of the 8 recruiters, this poses no problem. Like the one we spoke to on the phone.
T'as quel âge, toi?
Moi, j'ai 16 ans et demi.
Déjà, c'est bien, tu m'en parles.
Les autres filles, elles ont mon âge et tout.
J'ai une meuf de 17 ans comme toi, et j'ai une meuf de 19 ans.
Les clients, ils savent mon âge, eux, ou je dois mentir?
Non, eux, ils savent pas ton âge. Faut jamais dire que t'es mineur. Jamais de la vie, faut dire que t'es mineur.
Ça veut dire, je dois dire quoi s'ils demandent mon âge?
T'inquiète, on dirait que t'as 19 ans et tout.
The recruiters put the girls in competition with one another, with an incentive scheme for those who bring in the most money. Luxury handbags, shopping sprees, champagne and fine dining, trips to Paris, or even jet skiing. But the reality is often far from the glamorous lifestyle in these images. As this young woman who was recruited at 16 tells us, she responded to an ad promising many gifts as well as a waitress job. It was already too late when she realized it was for prostitution.
Ils te demandent tes papiers, qui garde. Quand on est naïf, on donne et on demande pas le pourquoi du comment. Une fois que t'es rentré dedans, tu peux plus en sortir. Ou si tu veux en sortir, ben, c'est super compliqué. Et ils feront tout pour te retrouver. Ils m'ont cherché, ils m'ont menacé. C'est des gens qui n'ont rien à perdre. J'étais beaucoup à du bullshit. Et du coup, ben, en fait, ils t'achètent autant que t'as besoin jusqu'à que ça te défonce et que t'en oublies les clients qui te passent dessus.
Drug use, which is often linked to this form of prostitution, helps workers cope with the grueling pace. Many of the videos outright advertise providing substances like alcohol, nitrous oxide, and cannabis. We've tracked these ads all over France. Every region is concerned. Like the big cities here or in the countryside. The pimps know that they're on the police's radar, to not get caught, some say they change location every 4 days. Others even say that they'll go to all of the cities in France. To do this, they book short-term vacation rentals. We geolocated this post, which matched this listing. The property owner assured us that he couldn't have imagined his apartment being used for prostitution.
Voilà, vous m'apprenez une bonne laquette parce que on est hyper vigilant justement à ça. Franchement, ça me met un petit coup à la tête. On est clairement impuissant et laissé par les locataires.
Qu'est-ce que ça vous inspire?
Je suis presque énervé en fait.
Associations estimate that there are around 40,000 victims of sexual exploitation in France. Half of them are minors. A Toulouse-based organization tries to help young women escape this trap.
They might be young girls from foster care who've had a rough childhood. These girls won't even get 10 or 20% of the money they earn. On the other hand, yes, they'll give them drugs. What they don't tell them is that they'll ask them to pay them back with tricks. The guy who's there for security isn't there to protect the girls. He's there to beat them up if she doesn't follow the rates that the client came for.
We contacted TikTok. They claim to be cracking down on these ads posted by pimps.
We do not permit exposing certain parts of the body or sexualized behavior, including nudity and sexual activities or services on our platform.
Some recruiters have no qualms about putting themselves in their ads. They may face up to 7 years in prison for pimping and up to 20 years if the victims are aged 15 or under.
Now, in a highly unusual move, Myanmar's military government has broadened its ban on the distribution of menstrual products. This is they allege resistance groups are using them to provide first aid to injured fighters. Since the military coup in 2021, the country has faced ongoing civil conflict marked by widespread violence and arbitrary detentions. Henriette Seyrak founded a menstruation educational NGO, Myanmar, before it was forced to close down several years ago. She's been following developments closely and joins me now from Abidjan in Ivory Coast. Henriette, thank you very much for being with us. While I understand it's very hard to access full information from on the ground within Myanmar, what are you able to tell us about this ban being imposed by the regime?
So we have very credible reports that there has been a deliberate, pretty much official ban placed on the trade of menstrual products in at least 2 regions of Myanmar, the Sagaing and the Mandalay regions, which are resistance strongholds. The military claims that they're placing this ban because menstrual pads could be used for wound care in the context of a civil war. But you know, it's very easy to establish that it's actually a very far-fetched claim. It's very imaginative on the part of the military junta, and it's much more likely that they're actually doing this to prevent female fighters from being operational in the war.
And as you said there, it does seem to be the case that the regime is using this tactic as a way of specifically targeting female rebel fighters.
There is no, rational, good reason for them to place this ban, except for this. We know that, the civil war has been long-standing, but this phase, since the 2021 military coup, has this interesting new feature, which is that women have joined the resistance. They've taken arms. They're in the war theaters fighting, and so we can only imagine that the junta thought of this unusual move in order to restrict female fighters when they menstruate from being active.
And indeed, it is an extremely unusual tactic by a military regime, is it not?
It's very unusual. We've not seen, there is no documented evidence of any government, using this deliberate ban in this way, or having this intention. And it's all the more unusual and surprising that menstruation is highly stigmatized in the Myanmar culture. And so, you know, imagining these military generals thinking of this ban, of these restrictions is very surprising. But you know, one can only imagine that the motivation for it justifies in their minds going through the discomfort of even discussing this.
Henriette, obviously a shortage of menstrual products leads to an exceedingly unhygienic scenario for women and girls, doesn't it?
Exactly. So we can only suppose that in the absence of purpose-made menstrual products, they have to use makeshift homemade systems, which have proven to be highly unhygienic. Studies estimate that the risk of getting a urinary tract infection or reproductive tract infection from using homemade systems, such as typically old cloth, is twice as high as when you use a purpose-made menstrual product. And urinary tract, reproductive tract infections can easily lead also to more severe infections, to infertility, etc. That's the impact on their health. But we also know that in the absence of proper systems to manage their menstruation, it's going to affect their mobility, it's going to create social exclusion for them, it's going to create more stigma for them in an already highly stigmatized context.
Henriette Sirac, thank you so much for your time. We're going to have to leave it there.
Thank you very much, Annette.
And that's it for this edition. So until our next show, bye for now.